At Susan Miller Dorsey High School, 3537 Farmdale Avenue in Los Angeles. This community-centered event brings together advocates, supporters, and youth to raise awareness and resources for foster care programs in the greater Los Angeles area. Please register at Eventbrite CYFC 25th Anniversary Walk. Congratulations to the Children, Youth, and Family Collaborative on their 25th Annual Foster Youth Awareness Walk. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Tell me if you with it, cause I'm with it, babe. I haven't heard from you and I'm in it, babe. Just tell me what to do and I get it, babe. Gucci and Prada. Trip to crib in the middle of the night. I don't let you miss me as I put it down right down, babe. I can put you on a flight. You know that a nigga like me can change your life, oh, babe. Everything you do is amazing. Ain't nobody got you go crazy. I got what you need. Everybody think you shy, but I know you a freak, little baby.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. You were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580 with your entertainment news update. And as usual, per usual, we got the heat. Tonight we have stories that are breaking the internet and shaking up the industry. Chris Brown, you know Andy's always on theme. Shout out to Andy. Breezy, a night out in Manchester, England, back in 2023. I think it might have been a little longer than that. But it turned into handcuffs and headlines for Chris Brown. So we'll get into the details of that. Now, we told you last week about the civil lawsuit and the allegations that Smokey Robinson was facing. Well, turns out there is now a criminal investigation connected to those allegations. So we'll get into the details of that. And of course, you know, it is day 4 of Diddy's federal trial. And per usual, has been the case, we are going to give you the details of Cassie Ventura's cross-examination, plus get into who is the next witness on deck. There's a lot to cover there. So get comfy. Grab your snacks, your libations. Your front row seat to the culture starts now. Of course, though, we got to get into a little conversation starter. Now, we talked about Snoop last night and his interview where he said 30 for 30, he's for the culture, and you can't make him change his stance, right? He dropped a surprise album called Is It a Crime? And there's some type of movie project or something, mini movie attached to it. But he's also, I guess maybe, you know, being in the studio with Dre and he's been away from rap so long, he's reinvigorated. The jury is still out on what the streets are going to say about this surprise drop. However, one of the songs, Shut Your B.A. Up, is a not so subtle diss track aimed at Suge Knight. And, of course, Snoop didn't mince words. We're talking, you know, giving all the Snoop gangster energy, and it's a West Coast track. And he had a lot to say about Suge yapping on the phone from inside. And, of course, some people are saying, yo, Snoop, where was this energy when Suge was at home? I don't know. I just wonder, though, if, you know, OGs are OGs for a reason, right? They're not necessarily supposed to still be running around with the pups dropping diss raps. And Snoop can do what he wants, right? And he's just printing money, I guess, at this point. We discussed about how he said he's about his bag and how he distributes his bag is his business, but he does give back to the community always. So there's that. But why are you... I mean, it's hip hop, so I guess there's always disses, but just, Snoop, I know you got something else to talk about. You have been all over the world. You run multiple businesses. You know, What does a gangster look like at 50? Let's talk about that. I mean, I'm serious. I just feel like, what's the point? What's the point at this point? But, you know, maybe that's the only way Snoop felt that he could get the people talking about the project. So we'll see what happens with it, where it goes, if people are tapped in and riled up for Uncle Snoop. If you recall, what was Missionary, his album with Dr. Dre? The sales for that were kind of subpar, kind of soft. I haven't heard anybody talking about any of the singles. Didn't see him bubbling on TikTok. Don't see any of the lyrics as captions. I mean, that's how you kind of can tell whether something is a hit or not in 2025. And it's not impacting the social commentary like, you know, it should. And I'm not even saying that it has to be at the youth, because we talk a lot about the youth, but these adults are right there on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y'all see them. Y'all see them. So let's not act like we're not there. When we come forward, we're going to get into this Chris Breezy day 4 of Diddy and so much more. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
Are you facing an unexpected financial emergency? You need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com could help you get up to $3,000 fast. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go to the name you trust, WeFixMoney.com. If you need emergency cash up to $3,000 for bills or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. That's WeFixMoney.com.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at SCORE.org.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So before we get into these trending topics and headlines, if at any point during this conversation you want to get in on it, 800-920-1580. Of course, we are available on all social media. KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. You can hit us up and jump in the YouTube chat. Already. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, we're going to be referencing that a lot because I asked for that. So shout out to the chat. They keep it lit over there. Join them, us. And, of course, we have an app. Download the app if you want to take the episodes on the go with you. Catch them at your leisure, although it's much better when you're here live. I'm just going to say that. But you got options, so tap into any of those. Now, let's get into the C Breezy story. Chris Brown is in London. Not sure why he's there. But he's making headlines, not for a single. He was arrested by UK Metropolitan Police. They picked him up early in the morning over an alleged bottle attack that went down at Tape nightclub in London. And the victim, alleged victim, however you want to look at that, is music producer Abe Diaw. And this supposedly took place in February of 2023. So he was taken into custody early this morning, and he had just touched down maybe hours before on his private jet. And the incident occurred when Chris C. Breezy was performing. Diaw claims that Brown attacked him at the event, which was titled Dirty Martini, calling it an unprovoked beatdown. So he's alleging that Chris Brown just jumped out at him. So the authorities say that they've been building this case quietly for months, and that C. Breezy was cooperative during his arrest, but he's expected to be facing charges of assault and battery. His reps have yet to comment. He will be in court early tomorrow morning, British time, UK time, which is 8 hours ahead of us here on the Pacific Coast. And, you can do the math wherever you are, because for me, the center of the universe is LA. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with it. No comments yet. And we'll hopefully get more details on this. Andy? Oh, no? Okay. So, some are saying it's interesting timing, potentially. They're calling it karma because you know how social media is. I'm just telling you what they're saying. Chris, the day before this incident happened, the news broke about Tory Lanez and alleging that Kelsey, let me get this right. Kelsey overheard from her bodyguard driver at the time confessing to shooting Megan Thee Stallion 3 times. They are starting a petition to get the case reopened. It has been said, well, they already have, I'm not sure if it is what they have submitted for the trial, but it is already in motion. That is why they are not adding this to that motion, because it is already too far in the process for this information to be added. However, they said that this is not new information. Megan's lawyer said that the case has been decided. This was addressed and dealt with, and Tory has been charged, convicted, and should just serve his time. So we'll see what develops with that. But Chris Brown put out a Instagram story supporting Tory. I think he said free Tory. And so some people are saying the irony that he was arrested the next day across the pond is somewhat karma, because he shouldn't be supporting Tory.
Well, if it is karma, that means a lot of other celebrities who have said free Tory in other posts, they got something coming for them too, if that's the case.
So, you know how it goes down. We'll see what happens. It's a lot there. All right, now let's get into day 4 of the Diddy trial. There it is. With Cassie's cross-examination. Now, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, and the defense set a very, according to some, a very compelling argument, right? They are not finished with their cross. It should be noted. There was some jostling back and forth with the judge before the questioning began, where the prosecution wanted to ensure that the defense did not take an extended amount of Cassie's time, that they wanted Cassie to be wrapped up by tomorrow. And the judge sort of agreed with that, but the defense pushed back and said, listen, this man is on trial for his life, and so we want to thoroughly go through everything and make sure that it is completely covered, and, you know, we should be given that opportunity to. So I believe that they said that a day and a half or 2 days at most. So Cassie should be off the stand tomorrow. And the upcoming witness is Don Richard, formerly of Danity Kane and Dirty Money. But what I will say about today's cross-examination is what is apparent. The defense is, in my opinion, trying to establish one, because what they said is, you know, talking to Cassie, basically, Diddy's a drug addict. He's a drug addict. They are wholeheartedly standing behind that they did a great deal of drugs together, and that when they were coming down, kicking, you know, going through withdrawals is when Diddy would be, I guess, aggressive, or these situations would happen where they would get into arguments with each other. Add into that the toxicity and jealousy, and that is sort of that aspect. But we'll get into those details. Andy?
Are there any specifics as to what drugs he's
Absolutely. Opioids and ecstasy, MDMA were his favorites, but opioids, that basically he has an opioid addiction. So here's the thing. If you think about Gene Dial, Gene said in one of his many interviews that he has done, that Puff got addicted to painkillers because of an injury to his wrist. An injury he claims that happened when he and Kim Porter were fighting. However, that's a story for another day. But that is what started Diddy's opioid addiction, allegedly. So, all right, a lot was covered today. Kid Cudi was mentioned. Michael B. Jordan was mentioned. We got a lot. So let me get into... I'm trying to figure out where to start. Basically, she was asked about their age difference, Puff's mood swings, how is he as a person. There was a lot of back and forth between the prosecution and the defense regarding text messages. Now, what I can say is that these are not new messages. These are some of them are the same messages that we've heard from on the prosecution side. However, it's kind of expanded. So think about if you look in your text thread with someone. The conversation that we're having from 5 to 7 p.m. may not tell the complete story of the whole day's worth of conversation that we had. Are you following me? So the defense wanted to open these things up. So one of the things that I thought was key that that was brought out, right? She did say that Puffy was encouraging. They talked about her bomb performance on 106 in Park, which was before they were involved in their relationship, and how, you know, he tried to lift her up and things of that nature. She said that Puffy is charming. He is a gregarious, big personality. He can be loving and all of these things, and at times motivated her, lifted her up. They read emails where Cassie talked about how Diddy made her a better woman, and she wanted to be a better person because of him and things of that nature, right? There were also text messages. For example, we heard things like yesterday how Diddy forced her to have freak-offs while she was on her cycle. The defense had Cassie, and mind you, they did not have her read all of the text messages. Some of them were just shown on screen because the text messages were very vulgar, very sexual in nature. And this is where they are setting the idea that Cassie initiated a lot of these situations and was requesting some of the things that happened. So I think Cassie hit him up and was like, I'm bored. I'm so, ready to pop off. And he basically said, are you still on your cycle? Get at me when that's clear. Remember, we were told she was forced to do these things during that time period, right? Her response was, I can skip it. I don't know how. I mean, maybe birth control. There are things, there's old wives' tales, but she told him she could skip it. She didn't care. She didn't want to wait for the weekend. She wanted to do it right now. There are text messages that she had to read with her requesting freak offs. There are text messages with her saying that she was fantasizing about girls and wanted to, have that situation pop off. So she and Diddy set up a freak off where she watched Diddy with a woman and she was video controlling herself during that time frame. She also said, which I thought was very interesting, which goes to the Rico situation. Remember, he's running a criminal enterprise, that she said he used, his security and these things to keep her locked in to this basically, slave situation. She was asked who knew about the freak-offs, and she said, no one. We wanted to keep it secret. We wanted to keep our privacy. So she said, not the assistants, not even, she said that she personally told no one. And she said she didn't know of or see Diddy telling anyone else. Remember, I mentioned yesterday, she introduced the fact that when they would fly these individuals out, he would submit it to his things as if they were meetings or freelancers coming out. So, can it be a criminal enterprise if the people booking the flights, the hotels, or what have you, don't necessarily know what the activities are? This is what Diddy's lawyers are laying out, and Cassie said that, they weren't telling anyone. It was their little secret. They got off on that. They read several text messages with Cassie asking for the freak-offs, saying she loved the freak-offs. They also brought into the fact that Cassie was jealous of Kim Porter, as well as Diddy's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, Gina. Gina is who I believe could be victim number 3. Don't know. But it is interesting, though, that, they are laying out, is this coercion, when it seems like they didn't really have a relationship outside of this. There wasn't a great deal of conversation. They also brought Ryan Leslie into it, the age difference between them, which is 10 years. They brought into the fact that she was in a relationship with Ryan. She knew that the party and the fake flyer that was created for her to fly out to Miami for her 21st birthday, where it was, the first time that Diddy kissed her and introduced her to an open side of life, using the oral region, that she knew she was cheating on her dude. Then they were trying to establish that to go and go to this party. Right? She tried to say that she and Ryan weren't together that long, but they were together for 3 years, and that was established. So they also read a text or an email from 7 years in, because I know some people are saying, well, her saying the stuff about the freak-offs was early in the relationship. Maybe, but again, these are the same text messages that are establishing timelines and these things. Remember, she said that he didn't care how she felt, if she was sick, if she was going through anything, that he didn't care about it, and he would force her to do the freak-offs anyway. One day she texted him and she said, oh my God, I'm so sick. I don't feel good. This was the follow-up after a freak-off. Remember, she said she would take days to recover and she didn't feel good. Diddy's response was, oh my God, I'm so sorry that you don't feel well. This is a contradiction to, he didn't care how I feel. He didn't show any of that. And she says back to him, why are you sorry? You didn't do anything. But she was forced into the freak-offs where she felt very sick afterwards. There were also text messages revealed when she was like, I can't wait to get some big black D in me. I want to garble it, swallow it, stick it everywhere. These are text messages that she is sending to him. She is saying in some of these messages, and I get it, we are allowed to change our mind at any time, but this goes to the coercion aspect that is mentioned in this federal trial. So we'll get into more details of the text messages, the cross-examination, and the Kid Cudi and Michael B. Jordan situation, and more, because it's so very much. All of that and more on the other side. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Everything you do is amazing. Ain't nobody got to go crazy. I got what you need. Everybody think you shy, but I know you a freak, little baby. Yo, give me lit. Walls on my phone when they find out that I'm rich. Then they switch when they say I'm choosing on my top down. Gotta doing donuts on it, yeah. Pause for the flick. Damn it, bust it, baby, watch it do it on the split. She don't need no hands or no pain. Do your dance.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now.
I will confer with my lawyers to figure out what's the best pathway forward on this. I think they completely violated my rights.
That's Black Newark, New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka, who is now headed to trial after being arrested for allegedly trespassing at an ICE detention center. Baraka says he was targeted by the Trump administration and left calmly when asked. Prosecutors argue he ignored warnings to leave. He claims the facility may violate Newark's codes. Artist Chris Brown has been arrested in England for allegedly hitting a music producer with a tequila bottle at a London nightclub in 2023. He was taken into custody Thursday in Manchester. The alleged victim is suing Brown for $16 million. And a judge says a discrimination lawsuit from LA County Sheriff's Deputy Michael White can move forward. White, a 61-year-old black deputy, says he's been denied promotion to captain 8 times in 13 years, while younger non-black deputies advanced. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Echo Park, it's a crash on the 101 southbound Glendale Boulevard. That's where the right lane of the off-ramp is blocked. Delays backing up out of Hollywood from just before Sunset Boulevard. We're also heading out to Hollywood with a stall on the northbound side of the 101 before Cahuenga. 2 middle lanes are blocked, and you're on the brakes all the way out of downtown. Let's also check out Anaheim Hills. This is the 91 eastbound right at the 241. A stall in the second lane from the left keeps you on the brakes almost from Kramer Glassell. Sepulveda Pass crash 405 northbound at Skirball Center. Middle lane is blocked. Delays from the 90.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
One game on the NBA playoff schedule tonight. Oklahoma City is at Denver for Game 6 in the Western Conference semifinals. It's a must-win game for Denver. OKC has a 3-2 lead. A win for OKC sends them into the conference finals against Minnesota. Magic Johnson made a $500,000 donation to Xavier University, an HBCU school located in New Orleans. Magic made the donation Wednesday night at Xavier's Centennial Gala. The fundraiser, hosted by actor-comedian Bill Bellamy, generated more than $2 million for Xavier. Sports broadcasting legend Brian Gumbo was the keynote speaker. R&B singer Jeffrey Osborne performed at the event. During the Lakers Showtime era, Osborne sang the national anthem for 20 consecutive Lakers home openers. Congratulations to the Texas Southern men's track and field team. They won the SWAC championship for the second straight year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join the Children, Youth, and Family Collaborative, CYFC, for their 25th annual Foster Youth Awareness Walk on Saturday, May 17th at 8 a.m. at Susan Miller Dorsey High School, 3537 Farmdale Avenue in Los Angeles. This community-centered event brings together advocates, supporters, and youth to raise awareness and resources for foster care programs in the greater Los Angeles area. Please Please register at Eventbrite CYFC 25th Anniversary Walk. Congratulations to the Children, Youth, and Family Collaborative on their 25th Annual Foster Youth Awareness Walk. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Next selection.
Hey, it's all Les for Prez, baby.
Just rock with me now.
And I'm as running mate low so, in case you ain't know so. Yeah.
You got fashion and style. I'm loving your smile and the way you get down.
Love that, baby.
Rock with me now. I can't see no one else. It's you by yourself, yeah, in spite of the crowd. Baby, no one else matters. Starting off with the kiss.
Welcome back in. You were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Ryan, Leslie, and Fabulous Fabo. And Cassie, that's right. Cassie is on the hook, right?
I'm addicted to you. I'm addicted to you.
Ryan Leslie has quietly collected his crypto empire and all of those things and said, peace to the drama. I'm not involved. So let's get into this cheating thing or these other relationships. Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan, and what happened with that. So the relationship with Kid Cudi, right? She said that Puff brought that up quite a bit. She was on a break with Diddy, per her words, while she was dealing with Kid Cudi. But she was still doing freak-offs with Diddy. Okay? She said that he would bring it up often. He was jealous, that they had a jealous relationship. I mentioned her being jealous of Kim Porter and later Gina. So about 7 years into their relationship, one of the emails that they read was an extremely long email that Cassie sent to Diddy, where she was saying, basically that she wanted to be official with him. She did not like not being able to spend Christmas with him. He would go off and be with Kim and the family. She pointed out that their children had never known them to be in a relationship. This is what she is saying in the email. I don't know if Diddy lied. I don't know about that. We're not getting into that. But this is what she is saying. So she didn't understand why he wouldn't have. She said, like, I get New Year's Eve and freak offs, basically, and she gets the holidays, even though they were not, they being he and Kim, seeing each other at this moment. At least that's what she appeared to think in this moment in these emails. She also mentioned the freak offs and said that she wouldn't mind the freak offs because this was after she told him she wanted to stop. She said she wouldn't mind them if she was the one, the official girl, basically. Remember, Cassie had a song called Official Girl. So that is kind of interesting, right? And again, I know you guys are going to say Stockholm Syndrome. You're going to say she was groomed. She was all of these things. But when does personal accountability kick in, right? I don't know. So, she said she cut it off with Kid Cudi after a month because she was afraid that it was going to get dangerous. We talked about last night about the thing where she went to Kid Cudi's house after Diddy kicked her out and all of these things. So with Michael B. Jordan, she was in South Africa filming the BET movie, right? And Diddy suspected that she was messing around with him. I told you what I heard the other day, allegedly, that she, that Diddy even reached out to Michael B. And Michael B. was kind of like, you need to get your guy, blah, 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 all of these things, right? So whatever happened with that situation, she said that she blocked him while she was over there, right? Diddy did not get on a plane. He didn't send anybody over to get him. She blocked him. Okay. And she said that while she was over there, she saw a photo of Diddy with Gina and she got angry. She got irate. And she said that she tried to focus on the movie and that she sent a video to Diddy, but to D-Rock, his bodyguard, and she was angry because she saw this photo of Diddy and Gina. I know Fahima has been burning it up in the chat, so we're going to let Fahima from DC get in on this conversation. Hey, Fahima, how are you? Good evening.
What did you do, Jill? What did you do? I just had an observation because we've always heard tale of these freak-off parties that entailed all of these celebrities and what have you. But during the trial, we're hearing about Cassie and sex workers and Diddy. So there obviously was a more than one level of things. Because, we've heard tales about, these Diddy parties and all kind of stuff goes on. But the testimony has been about intimacies with Cassie, Diddy, and the sex workers. So I'm just saying, I've observed that there must have been like different tiers or levels of sexcapades taking place. It's just an observation.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I think that people got caught up in the hype. People want to see, as much as they build people up, they want to see them downfall. So, of course, anybody that ever went to a Diddy party, and let's be clear, the Diddy parties were hot tickets. I have been to several. I didn't see any of that, but that's not the party that I was at. These freak-offs were private, intimate sessions. This is very much what their relationship, no matter how we view it, seemed to be. It seemed to be purely sexual. So I think that people that were looking for the bombshells of celebs involved and scared that they were on video are making it up, quite frankly,
Yeah, I've heard people say, I always left at a certain time before all that stuff happened. That's what I've heard.
I mean,
but it's just an observation.
Yeah, thank you, Fahima. Here's the thing about that. I mean, me too. I can tell you that back in the day, I have attended some functions, and at a certain point, right, it was like time for the good girls to go home. And we were like, Okay. Like, got it. Understood. This is not our portion of the night. And I'm thankful to have had friends like that and not that I feel like my story per se would have been different, but it's good to have people like that in your life. At any rate, what happened with Michael B. Jordan is she got jealous, and that situation didn't evolve really into anything. They were filming. Suffice it to say, she blocked him. So there was 3 months where she would, maybe not that long, but over in South Africa, and they were off or what have you, right? So listen, we heard about her oversleeping and him waking her up and, beating her up. The defense is very much trying to establish that, because they asked Cassie, what is Diddy addicted to? And Sean, and she said success. And they said, we're talking about drugs. And, she said opiates. I knew this because she saw them and he told her. I'm also going to tell you that while we are saying, and it's being said that Diddy pushed the drugs on her, there's something that Diddy did that is interesting. And I'll get into those details when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Imagine every pregnant person in LA County having the support they deserve. A doula on every block. Doulas provide emotional, physical, and informational support during pregnancy, through labor, and beyond. Medi-Cal now covers doula care. That means you can get the support you need or train to support families in your community. The LA County Medi-Cal Doula Hub is here to help. Learn more and get started today at ladoulahub.com.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like stress inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, I mentioned something Diddy did that might seem unconventional if the goal was to perhaps keep Cassie loaded. I don't know. You tell me. So, Cassie was asked by Combs' attorney, and it was a woman, right, that interviewed, as we knew it would be. And she started out, from what I understand, gentle, complimenting Cassie and so forth. She said for drugs, you'd both go to rehab. And she said rehab wasn't really a thing during our relationship. They would try and dry out, but these things happen. The lawyer asked, the freak-offs were an opportunity for you to take drugs together. Cassie said yes. She was asked, did you ever call yourselves get high partners? She said, we did. Did you take drugs from him without him knowing it? Yes. So she was stealing drugs sometimes from him. Okay. She was asked if Diddy had ever abused her while he was inebriated or high and then say he didn't remember it. And Cassie said yes. And she was asked, did you feel he was not taking responsibility? And she said yes. So they are, once again, trying to establish that these are two addicts in a volatile relationship that are jealous, going back and forth, and that maybe Diddy isn't responsible for his actions either, because when they were coming down, people are known to be violent, aggressive, etc. when they are withdrawing from drugs, especially some of the heavy drugs that they are using. Andy, you're sitting there deep in thought.
Just that breakdown right there, just it kind of, it's a good look for Diddy to a degree, right? And not so much of a good look for Cassie. But once again, court of public opinion, regardless, just, I guess, watching a man, physically harm a woman, it's still a bad look. But just based off of that, it sounds like Blueface and Krishan Rock. I'm not excusing
no,
it, right?
but I understand kind of what you mean in that. Like, just we don't know what Krishan and Blueface do in the privacy of their bedroom, but the outside of it, that craziness, that magnetic, that pull, that push-pull game, I understand the reference. Now, Cassie said that Diddy's reaction to her stealing the drugs was explosive. I'm assuming that means that he physically got at her, right? Because what they were basically trying to say is when Diddy didn't have his drugs, his medicine, that's when he would turn into a monster. And that's why they tried to establish you had good times with him. They asked, what type of videos did she save in her phone? Did she save good memories and things of that nature? One time, she sent him a text saying she just deleted one of their videos out of her phone. And there was something, she said it was so dope. This was a freak off video. So there are things like that again, questionable, right? Least reasonable doubt, potentially. We're still early in the case. We're not judging it here. We're just judging this particular day of testimony, right? So Cassie also said that Diddy told LA dealers not to sell to Cassie. His attorneys were saying that in a way, trying to insinuate that he was trying to protect her and help her from getting too far out there, right? So remember the things that she was going out and buying these drugs from other people. She was also jealous of her best friend of 17 years, Carrie Morgan. They are no longer friends because one day they were Cassie thought that Diddy might like her. There were some text messages about that. She was around a lot. One day they were doing drugs at Cassie's house, and I guess Diddy busted in and hit the young lady in the back of the head with a wooden hanger. The young lady then, I guess, sued Diddy. They settled, or maybe it didn't even make it that far, and Cassie ended up paying her out, and they have not spoken since that incident. right? Some people are questioning how, if Cassie was not, we know that they were in an open relationship. We know Diddy was seeing other people. We know she said she was seeing other people too. But how was she allowed to do it if she wasn't allowed to do these things, right? If she wasn't allowed to move. There are questions. She also says that Diddy told her initially because I guess she and Cudi were linking initially, maybe to collaborate on some music or something like that. Diddy told her he thought it would be dope for her career for them to musically get together, right? I don't know if maybe the reason why he tripped out is because he thought it was one. I mean, obviously they were having this volatile relationship, but these are some of the things that were mentioned. She also said in one message, she said to Diddy, I don't want to be a side piece, but I'll treat you as a king. And this was in response to him being in a relationship with the young lady, Gina. So, I mean, it's a lot. It is so much. They also touched on her relationship with his kids. She says I mentioned 2013, this long email. In this email, she also said that she was frustrated that she was unable to form a relationship with his children. As she framed it, Diddy said he was, kind of protecting his kids. And that's kind of why she went into, they've never known you and Kim to have been together. Right? Yeah. Andy?
All this stuff is starting to get frustrating. I feel like, considering there was an open relationship, Cassie should have known her place. Diddy should have kept his hands to himself. Like, you guys know you guys are in an open relationship. Why are you guys jealous of each other? You know what I mean?
Stuff is crazy. I feel like in some of this, she led a lot with sex to get his attention in these texts. And, we always talk about, if you put yourself in a certain light, sometimes it's hard to shake that perception of you. Meaning, if you start out in a sexual relationship with a man and you're not trying to establish something else, even if you are, but you act like, I'm the cool girl, I'm the fun girl, and you're not really the cool girl, the fun girl, you might run into problems, right? She seemed to pursue him in these text messages or the freak offs. Now, we understand she said this was the only time she could get time to spend with him, quality time, but it's just a lot that's being said, a lot happening, a lot going on. This is also something I thought was interesting. This is a side note. So obviously his family has been in the courtroom for all of the proceedings. It was noted that his son Justin has been taking notes every day, like he's on the legal team right along with it, tracking what has been going on. Today, in particular, for Cassie's cross-examination, it was noted that the sons were a little more invested, a little more sitting up straighter. They were, making eye contact with their dad, agreeing when Cassie was saying how inspirational Diddy was and things of that nature. They looked very, proud and like, yep, tell that. Talk about the good times as well. So, Morris Phillips, somebody poked Diddy during the freak offs, a male prostitute. Here's the thing, Morris. Remember that Cassie said initially to the escorts when they were posing as husband and wife, my husband isn't gay. He just likes to watch. There's been so far, the first escort that testified said that Diddy never touched him. There was no interaction between the two. And in fact, when he was the escort having sex with Cassie and looked Diddy in the eyes, Diddy's response was, I'm not gay. Stop looking at me. So, Cavett Hayes in the chat said, if only bad boy music was played during the freak-offs, that should be a federal charge too. The chat is bugging. Listen, thank you for locking in. I know that was a lot. We didn't get to Smokey Robinson, but basically what is happening is because of these civil allegations, the police department is looking into the accusations to see if there could potentially be room for criminal charges. He has not been charged with anything as of yet. This is standard practice per Smokey's lawyers. So that's where we're at. Keep that in mind. And remember, whoever is telling the story is who has the narrative. So just take in all the information and wait to see where we end up. I'll check you guys out tomorrow, 6 p.m. Thanks for locking in. Have a good night.
I've sent back-to-back dudes away from my door, thinking I was spoken for, not anymore.